Welcome back to WRPL. It's the podcast where we talk about all the things we were watching, reading, playing, and listening to. My name's Ben.
And I'm Steve.
How's it going, Steve?
I'm doing well, Ben. Can't wait to dive in and talk about all the things you watched.
Yeah, we haven't really recorded a lot lately. Steve's a very busy boy.
We'll pretend it's for important big business things.
Big business deals, huge opportunities coming your way.
I got some movies coming out, a new album, another podcast, some video games. I did some voiceover work for.
Yeah, I'm not too happy about that other podcast.
Some modeling,
Well, thanks for making time for me.
Yeah, no problem.
Very late hour.
Gotta work with the little people from time to time.
Our main topic is going to be Transformers 1. I have 1.5 million things I could talk about. I'll be nice and keep it short. You don't have jack shit, but we'll do a couple of our weekly things. Lord of the Rings and maybe the Penguin we'll do weekly.
Sure,
we'll see. I mean, we can't promise about weekly things when we can't even be weekly ourselves.
True.
All right. Well, let's start with a roll.
I feel good about this one.
Yeah.
14.
Okay, not bad.
I'll take it.
Okay, I got no room here.
18.
All right.
With the assist off some bounces.
Hey, if this is how you're going to keep your table, there's going to be some interference. All right, let's talk about some news and trailers.
With the news and trailers.
The only news is we had some major people die in the past couple of weeks. One we weren't able to get to because we were doing a This Meets That, but James Earl Jones dies at 93. Yesterday it was Maggie Smith, Dame Maggie Smith at 89, and today Chris Christopherson at 88.
Oh, I didn't know Chris Christopherson died today.
Yeah. Unless someone is playing a prank on me. I didn't go deep dive on it, but I'm pretty sure.
Honestly, I know the name Chris Christopherson more than his actual film work. I think I could be wrong. I might have only ever seen him in Blade Trinity.
Okay, yeah, the Blade movies, and I also know him from Planet of the Apes with Mark Wahlberg. He's sexy cave woman's dad.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have seen a couple of his things.
Yeah, he has a huge filmography. He's just one of those guys who's been working forever. And if you look at his IMDb, it's oh yeah, he was in that. Oh, he was in that. Oh yeah, I remember that. But yeah, R.I.P. They always drop in threes. So and some older ones too.
Yeah, they had a good run.
Yeah, they didn't take any fresh faces off the planet of the Earth. So it's a shame. But we got 4 trailers I want to talk about real quick.
All right.
Let's see if you watched them. There is the Last of Us 2 trailer.
Oh, God.
Aren't you excited?
I thought you would end with this one. That trailer was incredible. Just seeing all the stuff that just looks like they just sucked it straight out the game into the real world.
What that is. I know what this is. Oh, they're doing
and
that.
It just looks fantastic. And then the music choice straight from the game just perfect all across the board. I can't wait. And then the only thing that's changed is they cast, well, not changed, but an addition. Catherine O'Hara, she was some mystery character. I assumed she was going to be part of the Scar group or something, but I guess from the trailer it looks like she's playing his therapist, which I thought was an interesting turn. So I think that'd be, I mean, I guess I don't want to get into spoilers, but
it's fine. It's fine.
This is a spoilers podcast. I hope you play the game because it's one of the greatest games of all time. But I guess that's a fun way of keeping him in the show, and so that way he can be in all the episodes, but it's just him in therapy and him working through his stuff to try and connect with Ellie, since there might be a rift in there, along the way. So it's just he's gone, but the show can still keep him here, which I think is smart and interesting. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. We got the trailer for Ballerina, a John Wick universe or whatever they're calling it. Looks cool. Looks just like all the other ones.
Yeah.
Even down to the motions. I kind of wish she was her own thing.
Yeah.
but she handles guys like John Wick handles guys. And the thing that makes him special is he could handle a lot of guys. No one's like John Wick.
Yeah.
And she just, the way she holds her gun, the way she double taps and things, it's just a little too similar. And I get it. That's just what people want to see. It's what they're expecting. But I was hoping for maybe a little more originality.
Yeah, maybe she has. John Wick's a guns guy. Maybe she could be like a knives person or something.
Sure, yeah.
And I know that they've run into every kind of bad guy whose special weapon is something or other. But yeah, it looks like it fits in the world, and I mean, big fans of her, and I think it makes sense if you watch the last Daniel Craig Bond film. Like she's only in it for 5 minutes or whatever. She steals the show in that movie, and it's just like, okay, yeah, I could see her being, Joanna Wick or whatever.
Yeah. And then we got one I know you don't give a shit about, but I want to talk about. Did you watch the Thunderbolts trailer?
I did.
Looks fun.
I think Marvel does great trailers.
They do. But I like that. You think of characters from the past like a Taskmaster or Red Guardian or Ghost, and it's like, you're never going to see him again. Maybe if they do a big Avengers Assemble thing, they'll be in the crowd, but you're never going to see them.
Yeah.
But we get an opportunity to like do stuff with these characters that we never had before. So I'm interested to see where they go with this, especially there's that little asterisk at the end of Thunderbolts. And like, what does that mean? Because they did say there's a reason for it. So I'm sure I bet it's going to be very last minute. I've heard a theory that because the Thunderbolts in the comics were created by Norman Osborn, or was it Norman Osborn? Or was it the guy from Daniel Bruhl's character?
Oh, Zemo?
Yeah, thank you. Like they were all fake heroes. They were pre-existing villains, and they adopted different personas that kind of matched up with the Avengers. And it's like, look, we're the good guys, and everybody loved them, but they were secret bad guys. And then some of them realize, oh, no, actually being a good guy is kind of good. I kind of want to do that. And then some of the other ones.
Being a good guy is good?
Yeah.
Whoa, who'd have thought?
And then Norman Osborn was like running the show. And that may be the end of this one. Like Willem Dafoe shows up and it's like, I'm this universe's Norman Osborn.
Oh, you think they would bring him back to do it again?
Yeah. But not the one from the other universe. It's just this universe.
Like what they
is
did
the
with
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
It'd be something like that. I could see that.
Okay.
I don't want
I'd
them
rather
to.
see a new person.
I'd rather see a new person, just like we're going to see Wolverine again with Secret Wars. Like we have to let things go and bring new things. So in 15 years, we could be nostalgic for the things of now. You can't just constantly keep reaching into the past. But I don't know. I think this is fun. It's not till like next summer. We have to get through a Captain America movie before we get this, but I don't know. It's on my radar.
Alrighty.
Last trailer. Ghost of Yotai. Did you watch that?
I did. Not a ton that came out of the PlayStation State of Play that I was like, super pumped about that. But big fan of Ghost of Tsushima and looking forward to Ghost of Yotai.
I like that.
Looks cool. It seems different. Different weapons, yeah.
Yeah, I like
introducing guns and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Fuck guns. I don't need a gun. I mean, it's cool, but I don't need
I'm not saying I would want to use a gun, but
Yeah.
like at least it adds like a different enemy type is what I'm saying.
And the did you see who's voicing the main woman?
Erika Ishii. Good
Erika
for you.
Ishii.
Yeah.
That's a wow. She's
good for her.
This is a big thing for her.
Yeah.
You know? Very proud. If you don't know who she is, she's on College Humor and Dropout. She's a crazy little manic person, but but very funny.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all the news I got. You got any news?
No.
All right, thanks for bringing something to the table, Steve. Let's talk some stuff.
Okay.
All
get the stuff you want to talk about out of the way. And I don't mean out of the way like you have to rush through it. I just mean like we'll save the things that I have also seen for discussion.
Well, there's just so much. Was there anything on this list that you wanted to hear about?
I mean, whenever you have an F, I'm always interested to hear about it because, like, I imagine that's what you would be most passionate about.
No,
going like,
okay.
You wouldn't believe how.
So
bad
I've seen like every new release in the past 3 weeks. Like Speak No Evil Killer's Game, the 4:30 movie. That was like 3 weeks ago. I saw Never Let Go, um, and Wild Robot, and Megalopolis, and Azrael. I've seen them all, but I don't have a whole lot to say about a bunch of them. Like Azrael was fine. Megalopolis kind of sucks. It's that's a fun one to talk about.
I heard that there was going to be live
Yeah,
scenes with Adam Driver or something.
it's
How
it's
does
he's in a press conference and someone in the audience is supposed to go up to like where a podium is and a light would shine on you, you would read a line, and then the movie would answer you as if you were part of the press.
Mhm.
That it's just in the movie. It's just a voice in the movie asking the question now. So it only really works for like these big premieres when you show it at con and stuff, and you could have that, but you can't force every movie to send an usher in and say a line to the movie screen. So it's just voiceover in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
I did zero research into this movie,
it's
so
nothing. I'll say this is the best way that I've been telling people what it's like. So, did you ever see Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet?
yes.
Okay, so you have like a modern retelling of a classic story.
Hmm.
That's what it feels like. This is something from William Shakespeare, one of his less popular stories, and they said we're going to remake this, we're going to modernize it, and it's going to be crazy. Look how we're swapping, the politics of this time with the politics of this, and yada yada. But there is no source material to
Hmm.
base anything off of. So you feel like you're out of the loop. Like they made a really faithful adaptation of a thing that you've never heard of, and you're just very lost.
Okay.
And I bet if you sat there with Coppola and have him like this is a director's commentary movie if I've ever seen one. He needs to hold your hand and kind of tell you why he made these choices
Hmm.
because I feel like there's more here, but it's not on screen. I found it to be pretty much nonsense the whole time.
Interesting. I have never seen any of the Godfather movies.
No,
I started number one like
fake
three different
fake film
times.
bros here.
Uh, I mean, huge fan of Apocalypse Now. I like
Yeah,
Apocalypse Now.
yeah.
Uh, but I'm not like a big Coppola guy,
Nah.
and it's just interesting to see his work over the years and how none of it's really like he's made some of the greatest films of all time, but since the 70s, he hasn't made like a ton of really great stuff.
Yeah, going
It just seems
through.
like the only people who really made it out of that time, who's still working, who still consistently do good work, is Spielberg and Scorsese.
Yeah.
They talk about these masters of cinema who are just like, oh man, like their work is untouchable. It's like, yeah, their work of that time is untouchable, but like
Mm-hmm.
there's a couple of them who are still making good shit now.
Yeah,
But it's just like, is it just old age? Is it just lack of passion, or is the passion there? Or just lack of understanding of what audiences want? Not necessarily that you have to cater to your audience, but at the same time, like you want to make movies people enjoy.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm proud of him being able to do the big thing you've always wanted to do. But really, this is the big thing of all the things you could have done. This is it. Yeah. The one thing I did like was in Rome, everybody wore like the togas and
Sure.
stuff. Like that never went out of fashion. So you could see it reflected in suits, and people still kind of wear it instead of like a big heavy raincoat. They
Hmm.
still have their
Let's
togas
bring
on.
togas back. I like
Yeah,
that idea.
it's not bad. Like there's ideas on the screen, and like he can stop time. Okay, he has the superpower where he can stop time. They don't say how he got it. It's not really useful to the plot. It's never explained. People see him do it, so it's not like just a thing in his head. But
But wouldn't
it's
people? So can he stop like something in time, or it's all like he's stopping all
no,
of
he can
time?
stop smaller things as
Okay, because
well.
that was I was confused. It's like, oh, people see him do it. It's like, well, wouldn't they just
Also be stopped.
also
Yeah,
be stopped so they could
yeah.
actually see him do
It
it?
doesn't quite make any sense, or it doesn't really add up, and it doesn't have anything to do with the story. Um, all in all, everybody's in a different movie. Everyone's playing it on different levels. Some are very sincere, and some are really kind of chewing the wallpaper. And what's his face? John Voight just seems like he was drunk the entire time. Yeah, not very good. I can see a lot of people liking this and like you really gotta, you know, dig deep and think of the bigger meanings behind all this, and then that's
It'll be
fine.
part of the Criterion collection in a
Yeah,
couple years. Yeah.
it's not for me. And going through his Coppola's filmography, I didn't know he made Jack with Robin Williams,
Oh yeah.
and he made like Supernova, like with Angela Bassett, and weird movies. I think the last thing he made that I gave a shit about is Bram Stoker's Dracula, and everything before that, like either haven't seen or don't care. Oh, he made Captain EO? That's cool. Outsiders, there's just so much on here that if you take out Apocalypse Now and The Godfather, he doesn't have a whole lot
Yeah.
left. So, fuck Coppola. No, good on him. Sell your shitty tasting wine and make your big dream movie. That's great. I'm very happy for you, but yeah, I do not care about that movie. Some other things like I watched smaller like the movie called Caveat, and the guy who made Oddity this year, so I wanted to check out one of his movies. That was pretty good. I watched a Bigfoot movie called Tahoe Joe. That wasn't very good. I just watched the Netflix movie Uglies with Joey King. The most aptly suited person for a movie called that. Uh, that's a piece of that's a huge piece of shit movie.
So you're saying Joey King is ugly?
Yes, in
Okay.
real life, I can't stand looking at her face. But I heard the movie was so bad, I needed to watch it. And it's you remember Divergent, right?
I never saw it, but I do
But you
remember.
remember the
Wait, did I
time.
watch? Maybe I watched parts of Divergent.
Well, this movie's 10 years too late.
Yeah.
And its message is a little muddy. Like when you turn 16, you get surgery to be the most beautiful version of yourself. And then you get to live like 10 years just living it up before you have to get to the real world. It's supposed to be dystopian, but it doesn't really sound all that bad. Yeah, you get kind of memory wipes and you get a little vapid and you forget your past and they want to keep you subjugated. Yeah, that's all of them. But it's not like, oh, we make you pretty, but they're actually cloning you, making a
Yeah.
prettier version and then sending you into the bee mines or something. Like there's nothing like that. And so when you have a rebellion against this thing, it was shit.
So I didn't know anything about this movie, although I heard it was bad. But so you're an ugly person,
Yep.
and
Everyone's technically ugly.
you can get surgery or win a
Yeah.
contest or whatever.
No, everybody
everybody
gets
gets
it.
And so then for 10 years, you're beautiful.
Yep. And then you just
And-
got to go to work.
But
Then you got to grow up.
okay. So, but you stay beautiful. You just live in the real
Yeah.
world.
Yep. And you just go and live your life. Like, okay, I had my 10 years of partying. Now I'm going to get married, have some ugly babies of my own, and then the cycle continues.
So when two adult beautiful people hook up, have an ugly kid,
Yeah.
that they don't get to raise that kid. They just send him off to
They
the
can if they
ugly
want
mines,
to. No,
whatever.
they get put into like a city of their own where you're just on a curfew and you have your own apartment and you just kind of learn and wait till you're pretty. It's a very shallow,
Okay.
stupid premise for a dystopian future. It's bad, and that's why it got an F. So I guess the last thing I'll talk about, like if anybody wants to know anything specific, go ahead and ask. But most things I saw were in the C minus to B area. The only thing that gets an A so far is The Substance. And I saw the director of The Substance made a movie called Revenge a couple years ago. I bought it on a whim because I heard it was good. It's like men get a sex worker for their bachelor party or something. They get a little handsy and they think they kill her and they like throw her off a cliff and she's impaled on a tree and she's like, I'm going to get revenge, and goes back and kills all of them. It's pretty slick and stylish.
Like, is it months later after she's recovered, or is it just like, I still have the tree inside my chest?
No, she has like the tree sticking out of her and has to like break it off and heal her wounds. Like I think she heats up like a metal can and like welds it to her to make her stop bleeding. It's a little heightened reality. You would not believe that she could survive this fall.
Okay.
So
But did you like that movie?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
It was a whole lot of fun. And so when the Substance was coming out, very excited. Pretty much basic premise. Demi Moore was a huge star. She's a little washed up now. She hosts like an aerobic show. She's just turned 50, and Dennis Quaid, her producer, is like, "Ugh, get this ugly, nasty cow out of here. Bring me the new hotness." And she overhears, and it's just like, "Fuck, I have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This company all revolves
How old
around
is
me."
Demi
She's
Moore?
61 now.
Oh, okay.
So she was playing a 50-year-old. And doing a good job. So she gets picked randomly by this nurse guy for the Substance. It's a special care package. You have to go to this dark, dingy alley and get it. Like, you don't have any contact with any humans. And it will make a prettier version of yourself. So here's the process of
Now,
what
is this thing
happens.
like widely known to the
No,
public?
no.
This is
This
just
is black market
black
shit.
market shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you give yourself this shot, and it duplicates your cells, and you birth a younger, more beautiful version of yourself out your back.
Ugh.
So you come out of your older self, and you're young and hot. And you got to sew up your older self's back, and then you have to hook up the older self to this bag of food that is only good for 7 days. You will switch back in 7 days. You have to trade off 7 days as one, 7 days as the other. It's not two different people, it's your mind in both of them.
Okay. Got it. That was my next question.
But there seems to be issues with when they go back and they don't remember everything that the other one did. So then Margaret Qualley climbs out of Demi Moore. She's beautiful. She hooks up the body, and she has to put a syringe in Demi Moore's spine and suck out 7 days worth of spinal fluid, and she has to dose herself every day. Otherwise, things go bad. Well, Dennis Quaid sees Margaret Qualley and is like, "Damn, you are the new hotness, and we're gonna revolve a new exercise show completely around you." And so she's going back and forth between 7 days of feeling kind of gross as this old one, but she gets to live vicariously through Sue is the new one.
Now, let me go back a second.
Sure.
So she comes out her back. I get that. And she has to live one day. So is it just she goes back to the room where the other body is, plugs into
She
the
hooks
matrix?
herself up intravenously, and then you give yourself a blood transfusion, and you wake up in the other body.
Okay, so just trading. Okay,
Yep.
I wanted to just clarify that she wasn't crawling back into her
No,
back and
that's
like
what
using
I
her
thought
as a
it was
skin
going to
suit
be,
thing.
but
Okay.
no, it is not. And she even gets because it's in her nice bathroom, she even blows out the wall of her closet and makes like a hidden room so she could put the body there, because it was just like laying crumpled for a week, and like, oh man, you're gonna fuck up your neck. And
Yeah.
Anywho,
Gross.
so that's your basic premise, and then young one wants to stay a little longer. She's about to bang some dude, but she's got minutes to hook herself up. So she takes a little more spinal fluid to get through the next few hours. Well, what effects does that have on Demi Moore? And you have to do the give and take. And the longer you stay young takes away from the old. I think I want to leave it just there, because there's
Okay.
about 2 more acts, and it gets fucking wild.
Okay.
And if you don't like body horror, like your teeth get loose and people start pulling them out, or their fingernails come off like they're nothing, those are just like the smaller, reasonable body horror things that could happen to you. And that's like a 1. And then it does go to a 10 in things that you can't possibly imagine happening to yourself.
Where would like the birthing scene in Men quantify in this?
That would get up in the 8 and 9
Okay.
for this, but that's so short.
Okay.
Substance really lingers on this shit.
Gross.
It's disgusting, but it is so much fun. It is shot beautifully. Both of them do such an amazing acting job. if you have a weak stomach, don't eat in the theater or finish your popcorn really fast. When you get down to the last 50 minutes, have all your stuff finished.
It's just like a 2-hour film? Or?
It's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Damn.
It is. And around the hour 50 mark, there's a moment you feel this is the end. In a normal movie, this is the end, cut to black. But I just imagine there was someone in the writing room that they're working on all the rules of the substance and says, well, what happens if someone does this with the substance? And they went, holy shit. We have to put it in. Sorry, this movie's a half hour longer. This is too nuts not to put it in. So there's like a reasonable ending where you could say, that was pretty kooky. Mm-hmm. And then there's the extended ending where you go, this is the most horrifying shit I've seen in a long time. So.
I hate extended editions of stuff.
It's not going to be in theaters very long.
Yeah.
So if you are going to see it, you probably have just this week.
Okay.
It is a longer one, but
if there is a 10:30 show tomorrow,
like 10:30 at night.
Yeah, because I get off at 10 tomorrow and the next day.
There might be.
Let me see.
Because that's what they were doing, like 6 o'clock and then 9:45.
Do I want to be up till? I mean, I was probably going to be up till 1 a.m. anyway. I'm a monster of a person. Are you going to see My Old Ass?
Yeah.
Okay. The substance has one showing, and it's at 2:30 p.m. So I will not see it before it leaves.
Is that every day?
Well, I have off Wednesday and Thursday. Let me see. I could see it Wednesday or Thursday at 2:30.
I think you should.
So long as I don't have to pick up my son. Oh, Joker comes out
this weekend, yeah.
Oh, sweet. Even though I hear it's just pretty mediocre to that.
Yeah, but I was hearing a lot of the same when it originally came out, so...
Really?
Yeah.
Big fan of the first one, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, Substance. I will try and see it this week.
All right, cool. You don't have anything individual, right?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Let's talk about some weekly things.
Some shows.
You want to talk Lord of the Rings first?
Sure.
Okay. This second half of the season, so much better than that first half. It really has taken its sweet ass time to get to something that I care more about. Mm-hmm. Episode 7 was particularly good because it was a whole bunch of battle scenes.
Yeah, and some people are like, I'm not into battle stuff because there's not necessarily a lot of character work or story stuff, and I get that. Sometimes, spectacle's all well and good, but when you're into the story, you don't really get much out of it. But I had a good time all throughout. I think there are parts of battle where I'm just like, man, this looks great, and then the parts I'm like, this seems a little bit cheaper, or like or the not that it necessarily looked bad, but it just seemed like I don't understand the like the size of the armies or how this battle is functioning per se, especially if you're doing Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings is pretty much known for having the greatest battles ever put on screen in terms of like swords and castle sieges and stuff. But all in all, like really fun episode. And do you think Arondir is dead? Because I feel like this would be a good place for him to die in terms of like, it seems, because this whole season he hasn't really been in it.
No.
And I don't think he's such a beloved character that anyone would really miss him. And it just kind of feels like, well, let's just write him out. We'll just have Durin and Elrond and Galadriel.
Yeah. Like, do we need him? What's
he
the bigger story?
Because we already have 2 other elves that our audience like more, I'm guessing. But also at the same time, his death didn't feel particularly epic enough to be the end.
And he also didn't roll over and go,
yeah.
He got kind of stabbed and then he walked away and we never cut back to him.
Because that makes me wonder, is it just, okay, well, we're ending the episode here, so he'll have his Thorn Oakenshield like talk with whoever before he dies, or is just, oh, nope, they stitched him up or sealed his wound with fire and he's fine.
Yeah.
Elf magic shit.
I'm okay if they let him go.
When he got stabbed, I wasn't like, oh, I was surprised.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't come back, I'll be disappointed.
Love seeing a big troll,
That troll was pretty cool.
I love that he picked up those guys to like block arrows. It's like, I don't care if they're on my side. I don't give a fuck.
Just biting off elves' heads or orcs. I don't know what he bit off, but just, Hawk 2 in a goblin skull is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I'm loving the dwarf stuff and the the downfall of his father, and
Hmm.
he had to betray his friend and break a promise and not show up to with his armies.
Yeah.
So add in some good drama for the future.
That they had one scene all season, and the second they just saw each other and smiled at each other, it's like I know they're not gay, but like I want them to like
Yeah,
or like have a throuple with Disa or something.
something.
They're just
No,
so
she would
cute.
sit there with some food, and then she would order them to do things to each other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean like they have to sexually be together. Just I want them to just be a couple somehow.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, just seeing them together was so nice and sweet. It
Yeah.
made me feel good, and then just to immediately go like, yeah, dude, sorry, bro, I can't make it. It's just like, ugh, the worst. But there's still time. We don't actually see Durin
Yeah.
do his thing, and it just
Yeah. So
seems
maybe they were running late. He's
yeah.
gonna show up and go, "Oh fuck."
Because also my problem with that is the guy comes and he's like, Durin, your dad's going crazy. You can't send the army away. It's like, well, I think I could. Do you
Yeah.
need the entire Dwarven army to fight your dad?
Yeah.
It's like I know he's powerful and has this ring, but
And can't
like,
you bullshit for a while?
couldn't you send your? I assume if you're in charge of the army, you have a second command who can
Yeah.
run the show, and you'll be like, I'll hop on a magical ram or deer or whatever that we have, or a pig, and meet you over there in a couple hours. I don't know,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's just like it's TV. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, I felt for most of this second half, if it's not Sauron and Celebrimbor, I don't care.
mhm.
They cut away from them to show me Galadriel. I don't give a shit. Let's go back to making these goddamn rings.
Yeah, it seems like this season's been weirdly less Galadriel
Yeah.
and more Sauron stuff, which honestly I'm cool with because
Yeah.
I pretty much agree. I think all the because they called Sauron this great deceiver, and how is he going to
Mhm.
trick people into doing stuff? And
Yeah. Now it's making sense.
and season one he was obviously deceiving someone or everyone the entire time, but it's just like okay, well he was like gone for a century or however
Mhm.
long, and everyone thought he was gone. So like, why would you expect him to be back?
Yeah.
And then now that he is, it's like, oh, he's actually doing stuff, and it's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I like seeing his pet, like, oh, him just twisting his arm slightly and sending the chick
Sending
over
the
the
chick
side.
over the oh my god,
brutal.
yeah. And just saying like, hey, it's a beautiful day. Just drink your tea and make your shit. Ignore everything else. It's just raining hellfire outside.
Yeah, I'm interested like how his powers particularly work because I mean, essentially, he is a fallen angel from the heavens who has these powers, but like what it just seems like why would he need anyone really, because it just he's got more power than it seems like anyone else on this planet.
Yeah,
I mean there's some wizards, but we haven't seen the wizards do a ton of stuff.
You could be like the most athletic, in shape person and good with a gun, but then they say do open heart surgery. And you go, oh shit, I can't beat up or shoot my way out of this. I need to get a surgeon. So yeah, I'm the most powerful wizard, but I don't know how to make a ring.
Well, yeah, I'm not like I understand why he would need Celebrimbor to make a ring that he pours his black blood into or whatever.
Yeah, so like,
I get that.
So there was no
but it
more...
just seems like it'd be so easy to just ascend because you can just make people see or believe. I don't know. I don't care.
Maybe there's a range, I don't know.
Either way, I'm enjoying the show. All the hate I think is unwanted. Is it the best written show? No. Is there some things that could probably like be extended out a little bit more because you're throwing a lot into 8 episodes and they go by quick. There's some character stuff that I wish kind of lingered a little bit more. Whatever it is, but I'm enjoying the show. Will it fall in the greatest shows of all time? No, but I think it looks great, and I like the characters in general, and I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So they were out of the special medal.
Mithril.
Yes. And so he just gave him his blood? Was that Sauron's blood, and that's what makes those rings so easy to corrupt? How do you make a ring without like that with the mithril? Without the mithril,
Well,
how could you can't just substitute one thing for another and everything comes out hunky dory without him going, I put a bunch of metal in this. Why isn't this forming into a ring?
Well, I don't think the rings are inherently made of Mithril. It's just like I need Mithril to complete them, but
Mm-hmm.
he's like, oh well, I didn't actually need Mithril to complete them. I can make this brass ring and it just be completely brass, but with hints of black blood magic in it. Because I don't think necessarily, like, I don't. I imagine if you're forging a ring, putting blood into it probably would make it a lesser ring.
Yeah.
But this is also a magical world where that might
So
have
yeah.
zero effect
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
So my, I'm guessing that the mithril wasn't essential to the
Okay.
actual making of it. It's just like an excuse for him
It
to
just really made it
go
seem
to.
like the mithril was an essential thing at the
Yes, I
beginning,
agree.
But it's like, no, we did the 3, we needed the mithril for that. Now we're on to the 7. We got this. We don't
Yeah.
need no fucking mithril.
Or maybe the original plan was to use mithril, and then when he couldn't get it, he's like, well, then I'll just. There'll be lesser rings, and I'll just pour more black blood.
Sure.
Who knows?
Yeah. And does he convince Celebrimbor to make the one, or does he do it on his own?
No, Sauron makes the ring on his own.
Okay. Like,
Uh,
now that I've been shadowing you and I've been
yeah,
your.
because if you remember, I mean, I assume that this is pulled from. It's been a while since I read book 1, but at the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring,
Mm-hmm.
and Galadriel's doing her whole speech, and then it's like, and then in secret he made
Oh, yeah.
a ring
Mm-hmm.
by himself.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
the exact line.
I mean, it's like they never mentioned
He forged in
Celebrimbor.
secret a master ring.
Yeah, they never mentioned Celebrimbor in the Lord of the Rings though, so like,
That's true.
they could do whatever they want. Like, does he steal Celebrimbor, take him to Mount Doom, and say, "No, you need to make it in my fires," or does he do it on his own?
Yeah, I'm
There's still things to play with.
I'm pretty confident he
Okay.
just rolls solo
And I was so happy this last episode. No fucking Hobbit bullshit, no fake Gandalf bullshit. That stuff has just become the worst. Loved it in season 1. Now I cringe every time they show up. Like that one dude, his name was like Nobody or No One.
Oh yeah.
Come on. That was like the most ridiculous, stupid looking fucking guy.
Yeah, he's silly looking, and do we need a poppy romance?
Yeah.
For that?
The moment he showed up, I was like, oh, I know exactly what they're gonna do with this character.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I enjoyed Poppy, and I get that she is the Sam to Nori's Frodo, and it makes sense for her to like be here. I kind of like that she didn't go.
Mm-hmm.
Like if there was interesting Poppy stuff happening as another side story, maybe that I could get into that because we could like, oh, we're spending time with hobbits
Mm-hmm.
versus just 2 hobbits and a wizard. But yeah, I don't know. Their stuff this season hasn't really done anything for me. All the dwarf and Sauron stuff is where it's at this season. So.
Yep. And the end of the episode, I texted you about it. The final song,
Yeah.
the like
the
orc metal. It was so fucking cool. Like I'm pretty quick to turn something off. I don't care about the next on or the behind the scenes stuff. And I just stopped and my ears perked up. I'm not a metal guy, but that shit fucking ruled.
Yeah, I could definitely see, Metallica or whatever just coming out like as a promo thing, just all dressed in like orc prosthetics.
It had to be Guar. They were the weird, gross, almost orc-like people anyway.
Sure. Whoever. The point is, I could see a metal band coming out in authentic Rings of Power gear and just like, oh man, orc metal would be fucking badass.
Pretty cool. Didn't bother looking it up, see if it was a specific band or if it was composed.
Just fucking Lurtz on bass, Instead of biting off bats' heads, they're just decapitating
their fans.
Elves.
Using a Gron to hit a big old gong or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, cave troll just on the fucking drums.
Hell yeah. Oh, and Shelob on a bunch of pianos, and keyboards, and like she's just a like those one-man marching band sort of suits.
Oh man, what would you call that band?
It'd be something like the Rings of Doom,
Well, I'll workshop
Cause of Doom. What's the place? Cause
of Doom.
Cause of Doom.
But
like,
Cause of Doom. That's pretty good. I like
Cause
that.
of Doom.
Damn.
Cool. All right. Other big streaming platform, big release, The Penguin. Uh, bullshit release though. They premiered it on a Thursday and said tune in for episode 2 2 Sundays from now. So episode 2 is tonight. That was not that was like that's a 10-day. Now instead of waiting just a week for the next episode.
Well, luckily
10
I
days.
forgot it came out for a while, and
Yeah.
I just watched it like 2 days ago.
So
Or no, yesterday.
You got a new episode tonight.
Wonderful.
What'd you think of this one?
That's fine.
Just fine? Oh, I thought it was fucking sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's things that I could be potentially excited about it. I mean, I like his version of the Penguin and how kind of like sleazy and gross he is, but I can also see him very much living in our world. He seems like a real person. He's not a cartoon character of the Penguin that I think we've known a lot of. Especially since the Arkham games came out, he's sort of this Cockney accent British guy or whatever. I kind of like he's just a dude from Jersey or whatever. And I think I apologize for messing up her name, but Kristen Milotti or Melody, whatever, I don't know.
Kristen Milotti, yeah.
I think she plays a good crazy person.
She's cold as ice. Like she's very good at that.
Her using the piano wire on the armpit, just
God,
nasty.
Yeah.
So I think she could be fun. I'm excited to see what she does, and it's HBO. They rarely make bad stuff.
Yeah.
In terms of drama, at least. So seeing that on this platform is pretty exciting. But I think that there were also parts of this episode where I kind of felt like, oh, this just seems like it could have aired on any other sort of network.
Sure.
And it just thrown in a few F-bombs to make it HBO worthy.
Give it time,
No, I mean, it wasn't bad where I'm like, I don't care about this, but there are just parts where it's just, it felt a little uninspired. It's just like, I've seen this crime story a bunch of times.
Sure.
I like the idea that the Penguin didn't straight up kill that kid. And he's like, hey, man, I'll use you. But
then I'll kill you. Hey, look at that sunrise, kid.
But I also don't know if I buy or care about their relationship so much. But it's only episode 1.
That.
Yeah.
I can't see him seeing this kid and saying, yeah, I'll use you. I need someone.
Because, I mean, the episode opens with him killing essentially his boss.
Yeah.
Just because his boss made fun of him, which I like that scene.
Yeah.
So it establishes right up front that the Penguin is cutthroat and ruthless, will kill dudes higher than him to try and ascend. But then just to immediately undercut that with like, well, then I won't kill this kid though, because we also need to like him enough to root for him.
Yeah, but
so we give him an adorable sidekick to be the audience in.
He had a stutter, so he sees in himself like, oh, I have this, the way I look, my foot.
Sure.
I have a handicap too. No one wanted to give me a
Dinklage,
chance.
Bastards and broken things.
Yeah, I get it. It's just this actor. I don't know. He's not doing it for me just yet. I've only seen him in one thing before. He was in that Marvel TV show, The Runaways.
Oh, okay.
And I really liked him on that. And I didn't even recognize him really, but and he's good on that. And this, I don't know. I guess I have to wait to see his home life side. But I'm just not loving his character yet. Everybody else so far has been pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, they really got to sell me on his and justify him being there.
Yeah, I mean, I liked that we got introduced to Penguin's mom.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, oh, this is going to be, Joe Pesci talking to his mom in Goodfellas and doesn't know his work. And it's like, no, she knows his work and is encouraging him. It's like, yeah, kill whoever you have to kill.
What do you mean run? No, you sound like a fucking puss.
Yeah.
You're going to step up.
So that makes, establishes very quickly, okay, this is the world he grew up in.
Yeah.
So this is why he knows and how, he got so tough from the get-go. So I like that. So I think I just need to see more. I wasn't completely blown away by the first episode, but there was enough there. I'm like, okay, I'd like to see where this goes. But also just to be tied into the Batman film, which I believe was the winner of our bracket.
It was.
A movie that you and I both really, really like. If this show is a hit, do we see other like where do other
I think
Batman
that's
villains come into
that's how
play?
it's gonna
Is it
be.
just going to be? Is it kind of going to go the Nolan? Well, we're only going to do realistic villains. Like, are we only going to see Zaz and shit?
Yeah, I hope
Um,
not.
Cause I mean,
Because
we've talked about it before. I'd like to see.
we want to see the crazy
We want to
stuff.
see some crazy
Most
stuff.
of
Bring Killer Croc.
his best rogues gallery is the kooky ones, and we've seen so many like everything from the Batman we've seen before: Catwoman, Penguin, Riddler, Joker. We've all been done, have been done multiple times, and so it's time for something new. And I think you can start doing that. You can't leap all the way to Clayface, in the
Sure.
next Batman movie, but as they've always said, Batman brought out more villains. If Batman wasn't around, these supervillains wouldn't rise up. So they're only going to get weirder. And since we've only seen Batman up to his second year, and he brought out someone as simple as the Riddler, give it a few, because I think the next movie is 1 year after
Okay.
this. So I think we could get someone like a Scarecrow, even though I know we've seen the Scarecrow before, but like a Mr. Freeze. Just getting to that a little bit stranger. And then by the time you get to a third one, we can start doing maybe a Poison Ivy, maybe a Clayface.
I mean, I think if they don't do it with this franchise, whenever the next Batman franchise comes out, like you just have to go full out
And
like bring back the Clooney shit. I don't even care.
that's true because we are getting Batman Cape Crusader with James Gunn's DC universe, and we're gonna have Damian. So this Batman will have already existed for a while. The Superman movie has a whole cast of crazy characters. I believe that's the one. We will just be dropped into a world where having a Clayface is nothing.
Sure.
So I could see them doing. I've heard Hush is gonna like Hush and Court of Owls. Will be next,
we've talked about that.
And then you could do the Joker for the third one, whatever, and you have your last of the gritty realism Batmans for a while.
Yeah, that is exciting to think about because I mean, if you can do what was it, Killer Shark or
King Shark
in Suicide Squad, you had a guy pop off his arms and float. Like you can make fucking
you can do anything. Yeah, it's just everybody wants to take Batman. They it's like everybody grew up with the Adam West Batman and all have this determination to take it so serious. What if we get away from the silliness and make it as real as possible? And even Tim Burton's first Batman is a little like that.
Sure, yeah.
And they get
100%.
crazier. That's like the good escalation. By the time you get to the second one, you're getting your weird penguin people and sewer clowns. And it keeps getting weirder and weirder as they go. So you can do that with the Batman. It's just a little harder because it's a little too realistic at times.
Everyone talked about the Dark Knight or the Nolan verse and just being like, oh, it's the dark, gritty. But then it's like, oh no, you watch the Batman. It's like, okay, this is the one that's even more realistic than this one. So anyway, great stuff. I love Batman shit. I'll see it all.
And so talking about like with the series, whoever the villain is, like if they do Court of Owls for the next one, Hush may play a part in it, but more than likely it will just be a tease. So then the next TV show is the Hush show. You have your movie, and then whatever like side villain is in there, they get a show of their own and flush them out. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Or it's just the Penguin doing a Sinister Six and recruiting.
But they said Penguin is just a one and done. So
what is it, Mr. Pig or
what?
The pig serial killer?
Professor Pig.
Professor Pig. Yeah, that's what I meant. Thank you.
You got a Mr. Freeze and a Professor Pig and a Doctor Strange. Hugo Strange.
Okay.
The other Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. Yeah. Gotcha. Fun stuff. All right. Anyway, moving on.
To our main topic. Weird main topic. An animated kids movie. Transformers 1. I think it's like the 8th Transformers movie to exist.
Okay.
Including the original. Is that right?
There was the cartoon one.
Yeah.
There's been
one.
Dark of the Moon was 3. There's 5 of the Michael Bay ones.
Yeah. And then Bumblebee.
Bumblebee.
And then Beast, Rise of Beast. So this is the
Oh yeah.
ninth Transformers movie. The only one to be 100% CG, although that could be argued. There's a lot of moments in those Michael Bay ones that are 100% CG. And watching the beginning of Bumblebee shows them on Cybertron, and that's all I think any Transformers fan ever wanted.
Yeah. I don't remember anything about Bumblebee, but I remember going like the first 5 minutes of Bumblebee was pretty
good,
sweet. Yeah.
And this one, yeah, we are on Cybertron the whole time. There's no talks of humans, but it does have a animated quality, not a computer generated trying to be hyper realistic quality. Yeah. So I'm happy for that, but I want us to get to that point of why can't we just make a completely CGI movie at that level of a Transformers, but the whole thing is CGI?
You're saying you want Michael Bay's Transformers, but just on Cybertron.
Yes.
But not necessarily that universe, but look like that.
Yes, I want it to look like big, real, living things, where these do look like cartoon characters. Yes. I'm maybe
I'm with
someday.
you. I would someday.
Anyhow, so there's a lot of garbage Transformers out there. The original cartoon sucks. Don't ever bother going back to it. It's not good. The Transformers themselves have never been good. The original movie was really fun, but it was a little depressing if you were a kid. The only good thing about
Optimus Prime die?
Most of them die.
Okay.
No, at the beginning. They all get like laid out, and because they wanted to push new toys and new characters. So you kill off all the old ones, and that just pissed off a bunch of kids. All the Michael Bay ones suck. The best one is probably Bumblebee, but it's not anything I want to ever revisit.
There was a graphic that popped up on, I think, YouTube. It was just like, these are the Rotten Tomato scores of all the Transformers movies, and Bumblebee had a 90%. I was like, that's crazy. I mean, that movie was, it was a fun, smaller Transformers movie because it's a fucking Bumblebee movie, and I like Haley Steinfeld, but I was like, at 90%?
Like, Hook has like a 27% on Rotten Tomatoes or something,
Crazy. Anyway. Yeah.
So it's, when you say this is the best Transformers movie there's ever been, that's not a hard feat.
Yeah, true.
So, but even with that, this is a really fun movie. I had a blast watching this. Did you like it at all?
Surprisingly, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's great. I think it's actually pretty by the numbers, but I think it's executed well and is saved by some fun action sequences and some surprising visuals, and I think some solid performances near the end. The first half of this movie, I don't really give a shit about. Like, up until everything after the race, I was into.
Okay.
But everything before that, I didn't really care. And I know it's like it's setting up some stuff, but I thought Chris Hemsworth, the Optimus Prime character, was kind of annoying. And the world was kind of, I was like, I wanted to see Cybertron, but it just kind of looked like a city. There wasn't all that, like, the most interesting part of it was like a city also on top of a city.
Yeah, because they're inside Cybertron.
Yeah. And it was like just a bunch of jokes and stuff, and none of the jokes at all in this movie landed for me, other than one, which we'll which we'll get to. Actually, there was two I liked.
I think my favorite joke was right at the beginning.
Yes, that was
the transforming one.
Yeah, that's the best joke of the movie.
It's incredibly funny. The comedic timing of like, oh, he can't even transform. Oh yeah, watch this, and then he just turns around and books it.
Yeah, that was my favorite joke.
What about Tron? You get it? Because it's like Ron, like his thing he did.
Yeah.
No, I like Keegan-Michael Key, but I'm kind of sick of his shit.
Yeah. But when my second favorite joke of the movie is, oh, this is Tron, this is C3PO or whatever, and over here, it's Steve. I got in there, Ben. You didn't think I was going to, but I'm in a Transformers movie.
We talked about it on like 2 episodes ago. We played the ad for it on the episode.
Oh, it was in the trailer?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember at all.
We talked about this like 3 weeks ago. And I even asked you, oh, geez, your brain is shot.
I need to go to therapy or something. I need pills. Anyway,
I like Brian Tyree Henry in
yeah.
this. Just a good job of showing how you could have your infatuation with your idols and how you could be betrayed by the people you trust the most,
Mm-hmm.
and the slow breakdown. And I bought his descent into madness.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it may be a little extreme.
Yeah, that was my problem with his character. I like Brian Tyree Henry in general,
Mm-hmm.
and I think he did a great job as Megatron, and I liked his arc. I think he has the best arc in the
Sure.
movie because you don't really get anything with Bumblebee. You don't get anything with Scarlett Johansson's
No.
character.
No.
Brenda? I don't know. But yeah, I thought his turn was just like, oh, okay, well, his hero betrayed him. That sucks, man. But it's like very quickly he was like, all right, well then I'm going to kill everyone in my path and even shoot my best friend if I have to
Yep.
because my mission is important. It's like your mission was to just kill this guy who lied to you
Mm-hmm.
and tried to kill you. I get that. Be mad at that guy, but it's like I guess I'll just try and rule Cybertron too now. It's
People's
like, wait,
minds, they get poisoned, and then that's all they can think of.
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was fine. But yeah, the back half took a little bit darker turn. Was more adult. Like the first half was just like, oh, we'll get the kids in there and get them invested. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it was emotionally effective in the back half. And Chris Hemsworth, Optimus Prime. I think at first his voice at the beginning was like, is he trying to do the Peter Cullen thing, or is
He
this
did
just
talk
like his?
to him and
Is this
get
his
some
just an
tips.
American voice? They like
Yeah.
kind of do some fancy sound editing, but by the end I was like, you know what, he's doing actually a pretty good job. I'll give it to
I
him.
liked his voice. I bought it until he goes back into the locker room to rally the troops, and he's making the big speech.
Mhm.
And it all felt really hollow. He just didn't command it, and it felt kind of weak. Everyone's cheering for him and like, and then we gotta fight the bad guys. Ah! And I don't know.
Yeah,
Felt like they called him up on the phone and said, "This line read didn't stay. Can you do it real quick?" And like, yeah, okay, and just did it real quick.
yeah. I mean, I think if there's anything holding this movie back, it's just the script. Because I just don't feel like the story is all that interesting, and like we said, I don't think there's any like really good comedy lines.
Mhm.
And I was barely a Transformers kid, so I didn't know any of the GoBot references that
Mm,
they threw out that
yeah.
they apparently had in there. Um, but yeah, this is just like every sort of basic ass D&D adventure is like, oh, a group of friends go on a quest to get this magical item that will help them defeat the big bad
Yep.
evil thing at the end. It's
And
just,
it turns out their heroes were the villains the whole time.
yeah, it's just it has every like
Yeah,
you could see
it's-
who the villain was
from the
immediately.
get-go,
The second
yeah.
Sentinel Prime was introduced, and they were like, "Oh yes, I was the sole survivor." It's like, okay, well he killed
That's him.
everybody.
Yep, he's the villain.
Yeah. So especially if your sidekick is the scary looking spider chick,
Yeah.
definitely the most interesting designed
Yeah.
Transformer in the group.
Yeah.
I thought that was a fun design that I wish they did something else with.
Mhm.
But oh man, let's talk about the fucking Quellions or whatever the fuck their name was.
The villains.
The villains, who like weren't super villainous in this. They were more of like we'll deal with this later kind of thing.
They were
But-
yesterday's villain.
Yeah, but man, that ship entrance,
Yeah.
that thing looked fucking awesome.
Yeah.
What a great visual that was. Super scary.
Mhm. I
Very
wish
much
they
like
weren't.
Reaver, Serenity kind
Yeah,
of vibe to
yeah.
it, but like with a Cthulhu aspect to it. Just I thought they looked fucking.
I
sweet.
just wish they didn't have any robotic parts to them. I wish they were a completely organic creature.
Yeah.
Just so the Transformers would see something like that and go, "What the fuck is that?" Because they even mentioned like the grass was growing.
What's grass?
What the hell is this? And so that would
Soft metal.
just like boggle their mind of seeing these living creatures. But whatever, small nitpick.
Yeah.
Do you think the next one will be called Transformers 2? Do you think they just kind of have to go with it?
Yeah, I think they would have to.
Yeah. Because if you called it any other subtitle, like, oh, is that one of the Michael Bay ones? Is that 4? Is that 5?
Yeah.
I guess you just have to do that.
Well, luckily for them, Michael Bay had, it wasn't
There's always a
Transformers 2. Yeah,
tagline.
there was
Yeah.
it's the Revenge of the Fallen. It's like, okay, so I know
Mm-hmm.
what that is. Where
Yeah.
this will just be 1, 2, and 3 or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, I It's weird. This movie, I didn't like the look of them
Yeah.
a lot of the time. There's parts of this movie where I'm just like, "Oh, I think they just look gross."
I think
And
that's kind of
then
the point.
no, I get it. It's the older style, paying homage to the original designs, and they kind
And
of look like
and they
toys,
start upgrading as they
and
go.
which I get. But then it's just like they would do some like really great visual work. With like, you know what, this movie is like really good looking at
Mm-hmm.
times. I just don't like how they look.
Sure. Okay.
I think it just they look cheap, but everything else in the movie looks pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was always kind of weird for me. But yeah, I mean, I had a good time. I think that back half really saved the rest of the movie. And I'd happily learn more about the lore and how they, and what other adventures these people go on.
Yeah.
Uh, so good for them for making a good Transformers movie. If you can make a good one with humans, you know, make it animated.
Yeah.
You know, animation can cover a lot of bad things about a story
Yeah.
because they're just like, oh well, maybe it's just this is for kids or this is it doesn't translate well to special effects, so we can do it in animated, and now we can do whatever we want. And
Yeah.
yeah, so
Cool.
you have anything else to say
I
about
don't know.
Transformers
I
One?
don't think. I don't
I
think
didn't realize
so.
Scarlett Johansson was in this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I recognized her voice eventually, but I like didn't hear anything about her being in it. So I was like,
No.
oh,
Yeah, easy
that's
paycheck.
yeah. Um, but Steve Buscemi as Starscream,
Yeah, that was strange. Yeah.
yeah.
But I like that they included them. Like that there
Mhm.
was a reason to have like this rebel group on the outside. And yeah.
I saw this. I was the last showing of this movie. So at the end, I also haven't slept well in like a week. So I was kind of falling asleep near the end. I mean, I watched the whole thing, but I was definitely like,
Yeah.
blinking and myself or back into it for a second. So Megatron turns evil and it's just like, hey, I forget the name of the group,
Yeah.
the Ravagers or
Hmm.
whatever. Let's get out of here. And they're like, yeah. But some like they all those guys went with Megatron to I'm sorry, all those guys went with Optimus to overthrow Sentinel Prime because they
Yeah.
were like, Sentinel Prime is the bad guy.
Hmm.
Why did they follow Megatron at the end?
Better speech maker.
Because like
I think it was
they
more
like
like that.
Optimus Prime led them to defeat the bad guy. The
Yeah.
day is saved.
But we're not going to follow this guy because it's going to be
Iacron
more of the
City or
same.
whatever it was called.
Unicron City?
Yeah,
Was it?
no, it wasn't
No. Oh
Unicron.
no.
It began with an I.
Yeah.
Uh,
Whatever.
okay, so their idea was like, well, we don't want to live under another prime. That was the
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. It's like
I
we're
must
not
have
going to
missed that
follow
part.
this guy because it's just going to be more of the same. Follow me and I'll overhaul everything.
Okay, got it. Okay, I'll buy it. It just
Well, one of my favorite scenes. Okay, so the Optimus, his transformer. Imagine the truck,
yeah.
and you got to fold it up, but then his wheels are facing forward, so you got to twist the bottom
Hmm.
part so his legs are facing the right way. He does that where he like jumps and grabs someone and wraps his legs around him, and then he transforms into a truck, so it twists himself completely around. So he ripped the bot in half. I'm like,
Hmm.
that was cool,
Yeah,
but
they definitely do some fun like using the transforming in the fighting, which I
yes,
thought was really smart and fun.
but I think it suffers from some of the same Michael Bay problems. There's so much going on in the screen so
Yeah,
quickly that you can't really tell what's always happening.
sure.
And it's like slow it down just a bit or pull out just a little bit, and it will do wonders. It doesn't have to be just two things crashing into each other as fast as they can.
Yeah.
But besides that, I had a very good time.
This is also a small gripe, which doesn't really matter. I'm just wondering if you have any thoughts on it. So there's this city. Is it the only city on this planet?
I believe so.
Okay. And then Sentinel Prime, fought in the wars or whatever and betrayed everybody. And then when they were born, they he took their
Yeah, he's in the delivery room plucking them out one by one.
yeah, he has whoever doing it. So are Transformers built or are they born?
I bet it's
Because
like,
they do seem to have some sort of like organicness to them. They're like organic metal, which allows
and
them
they
to
have
like
to
live
eat
and
the
breathe.
energon.
Yeah, so but it's just like, are they
I just think
orcs that just get sprouted
I
from the
think, yeah,
earth?
I think the planet just has like a big robot vagina and it just starts spitting them out. And then it's like a mess and it just kind of has to learn how to transform on its own. And like, but do you have parents? It seems like you're just a person of the planet.
Yeah.
So I don't know how
Do
that
you just
works.
wake up as a 25-year-old
Yeah.
adult and then it's like time to get a
Yeah, because there's
job?
no
Do you already
kids.
like is your personality programmed into you?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, maybe there is no like childhood, adulthood, being elderly. It's just you are a transformer. You are just
hmm,
built and your code is randomness and that's your personality and whatever you transform into is your heart's desire. I'm not
yeah.
sure exactly how it works. Yeah, I'm going to say big robot vagina in the planet.
All right. Last thing, and then we can end the episode. I just want to say there's something about robots wearing clothes that
Mhm.
just looks cool.
Yeah.
There's only one robot that really had it. It was was it not Megatronus? One of the Lawrence Fishburne
Yeah,
character.
yeah.
It's just a big robot with a cape. The
Yeah.
cape looks so fucking
I
cool.
mean,
It's-
Megatron in one of the Michael Bay ones, he had like a cape
yeah,
and a
yeah, yeah.
hood.
That's right.
It
Yeah,
was dope as shit. He looked
yeah.
like Doctor Doom.
Yeah, I think robots should, even though they have no reason to wear clothes,
Yeah,
throw some
yeah. Little
garb
polo
on them.
shirt, some
Yeah,
khakis,
sure.
and some Crocs, maybe. Look good.
Get jazz and some jorts and anywho.
All right. Well, cool. That's about it. Next week is Joker 2, Folie à Deux. I think there's something else.
Hopefully I'll see the substance by then and then we can talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah,
It
we'll
could be
talk.
that and Joker.
Yeah.
We'll see. No
Yeah.
promises.
And then also now that it's like going into October, there's a lot of horror movies coming out.
This is the season of Ben.
Yeah, so I'll have a ton of things to talk about. Last thing to plug, I posted a video on our channel about potatoes. I tier rank all the best ways to eat potatoes. It's not every way you eat a potato, but it's my ways. It's not a good video.
Okay.
It was more of a test.
I've yet to watch it.
Okay.
Just so you know.
It was
I'm working on it.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks for support. It's more of a test of like editing skills
Uh-huh.
because when I make our videos for this, it's a still image and an audio track.
Mm-hmm.
I make it in 30 seconds. It's nothing. Can I stitch live or some videos with pictures? Can I do transitions? I just wanted to test the waters on how to do things, and it took fucking forever. This thing's 10 minutes and 2 seconds long, and it took me 8 hours, I'd say.
Jesus.
I'd work on it for like 2 hours every night for a couple days. It took a long time because there was a lot of trial and error of stuff. So I don't care if people are mean about it. If you have tips, go ahead. Leave it in the comments of it. Just don't be mean, like don't.
Great video, ugly face.
Constructive criticism is
Hate
fine.
from Australia.
Exactly. So check it out. It's not very good, and my main problem is I didn't work off a script. I was like, I'm gonna record this as quick as I can, and I'm gonna do it off my head. And I left out like some crucial details of stuff, and some things I didn't go into nearly long enough. So first thing is I got to go off the script, and then 2, work on my fucking editing because there are some issues.
I believe in you, buddy.
Anywho, if you want to get in contact with us, we are at WRPLpodcast@gmail.com. We're on TikTok, Twitch. No, we're on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. Leave us with all your questions, comments, and concerns. As always, I'm Ben.
And I'm Steve.
And keep consuming.